Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, leave feedback, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube. And don't forget to hit a follow, whether you're following on Instagram, TikTok, or X. It is a new day, a new year. I hope everyone had a safe and happy new year. But still the same Premier League season that we're having with Manchester United. I hope everyone is ready to see what's going to happen with this transfer window. Obviously, everyone is talking about the news of Chelsea and Maresca parting ways. Obviously, the Amorim out movement and groups are there talking about bringing in Maresca and letting go of Amorim. As always, I am still Amorim in. I'm still believing in this manager. I'm still believing in the project. Yes, we are aware of the owners. Yes, we're aware of everything that is going on at the club, the players, the transfers, the depth. Like, we know there's issues. We know that. No new manager would come in and be able to fix what's going on. Not with the injuries that we have. Not with the depth that we have. Amorim is still the right guy to build. We're still building. We're going to be getting new players, and hopefully this transfer window we'll see that. This is going to be a little quick episode of transfers. I do have a list of players that I'm looking at that I would like to see. Mostly it's basically what's been going on. Obviously, we know there's targets, but the one thing too is we know the ownership is going to be an issue. That's nothing new. And we are where we are, and hopefully we have the funds available. But again, we can start the protests again. We can get, like, unfortunately for myself and some fans that are over on the other side of the Atlantic, we can't be there to help with the protest, but we can discuss what's going on. I am happy with some of the fan bases that are still, or areas of the fan bases, some channels that are still backing Amorim, which I'm happy to see. Obviously, we've seen the fallout from the game against Wolves, a large group and some fan channels looking at saying sacking Amorim. Listen, we are aware of what's happened. We are aware, and I discussed this in my episodes. Tuesday's game was going to be a struggle, and I mentioned that in my preview. We weren't the same team that beat them 4-1, and don't be going around saying, well, their Wolves were Manchester United. I'm just going to leave it there. But, like, at the same time, too, we were missing players. One or two players could have made a difference in that game. That's true. But I also did mention that we had opportunities to win that game. There were opportunities there. And I know everyone's talking about, we could have moved into top fourth, and today we could have been in top fourth. I didn't realize the fucking season was ending. I didn't realize that once we're there, that we finally secured it and we're set for the season. If we were doing that in the final game where we needed to win and do it, and that win solidified everything, then yes, I would be literally pissed at the players and the manager and ownerships and everything. The way everyone is losing their marbles today and yesterday and tomorrow and so on and so forth is, I would be doing that on the last game if that was the type of game we were in. Or if we were in the final games, we were pulling games like that. That's when I would start losing it. But we still have plenty of season left, ladies and gentlemen. We still have plenty of time to move things around. We're going to be having players back. We're going to be having healthy players back. Hopefully, for Leeds this week, we have Kobe back. Hopefully, Mainu is good to go. Hopefully, Mount is good to go. Hopefully, Maguire, De Ligt are taking the right steps closer to being back. We are missing key players. And again, one or two on that Tuesday could have made a difference. They could have. Having Mount there would have made a huge difference. Having Mainu in the mid with Casemiro would have made a difference. It would have been there, especially with the formation and everything and how Amorim is adjusting. Yes, having those players there would have been key. It would have been important. But unfortunately, we didn't have those players. We were hurt. And again, I mentioned potential of Joshua Zirkzee being on his way out. We've seen that too. So, again, these transfer windows, we're going to be talking about players. Again, right now, the latest is Ugarte and Zirkzee at this time are potential movements being out of the club. Galatasaray for Ugarte, Roma for Xerxes. We know that's been coming up. Kobe Mainu, obviously we still need him at this time because he should be coming back soon. So hopefully Bruno, because if Bruno is still not going to be back, he won't be back to at least minimum the Manchester derby. So Kobe's going to have to stay, and we're going to need players to replace. That is the one thing too for Xerxes and Ugarte. We have to bring players in. So the question is, who are we bringing in to be those replacements? Is it going to be like Conor Gallagher and Ruben Neves? Because again, Ugarte and Xerxes are on loans to potential obligations to buy. That is what is apparently being reported. But we still need players to replace them so on those loans. And chances are we're probably going to go with experience. Like hopefully we're still targeting Ruben Neves. And we may look at Conor Gallagher to be in that spot. We have to have those types of players to replace. And most importantly, because Bruno is still injured, we don't have Ahmad, Mazraoui, and Buemo. Delit, Maguire are still injured. Mount, we just need that extra piece because this is Mount's fourth or fifth knock. So we need to have those pieces there. Xerxes potentially going, so we're going to need someone to bring in as well in an attack, like replacing a 10. So if we're going to be moving Bruno to be replacing Joshua Xerxes or so on and so forth, you're going to need to bring someone in like a Gallagher or a Ruben Neves to replace those spots. We're going to need midfield depth. And we're struggling with the midfield depth because all we have right now is Ugarte and Casemiro. And we don't know if Manu is going to be ready to go for Sunday's game against Leeds. And that game there is going to be similar to what we saw with Wolves and what we saw with Newcastle. That will be a struggle. This Leeds team has been like some of those games. I'm doing my preview tomorrow, but some of those games I've watched Leeds play, they've played very well this season. Some of those games they played well. They've taken wins from some very important teams, if you've watched this season. But we will have a challenge on Sunday. It's there. We will have our struggles. And I'm going to talk more about that on tomorrow's episode with the preview. Like always, Tuesday, Wednesdays are episodes. Preview episodes sometimes a couple days before the game. And as well as post-game games episodes after as well with player rankings. Excuse me one more. My cough is slowly going away. It's there. It's slowly going away. But in the end, right now we have pieces that need to be there. Our end goal is still Europe. Let's not take that away. Are we in the right spot to get to Europe, to get to those positions? As of right now, we are. We're there. As of today, we are sitting in sixth. Listen, there's still close areas of players that were in 15th to where we are in 6th. But we are in a challenge. When I did my preseason preview, I did mention the challenges of some of the teams that we're going to face. The top 5 right now are some of those teams that I mentioned. I also mentioned Newcastle. I mentioned Crystal Palace, which is sitting in 10th, which they're 3 points back of us. Brentford. Everton has come up. Yes, the same Everton that we lost to 1-0 with them being a man short. Sunderland, who is having a decent season, which is just 1 point back. They drew against City today. So obviously we have competition. And I mentioned that. Like, just to be in the top half is going to be a challenge. It's true. And we can say we're Manchester United till the fucking cows come home. But realistically, the league has gotten better. Teams are playing better. You're seeing changes there. Like, you have to look at what is going on, and the teams that we're facing against, they have improved. Everyone's expecting teams to fall apart and just lay over when they see the badge of Manchester United or when they come to Old Trafford. That's not fucking happening anymore. That, like, it's like, we don't, like, our squad has its issues. There are teams that are better than us. There are teams that are spending. We know what's going on with the owners, the restrictions, and we have a shit ton of injuries. We're missing 8 players. We have, Delit, Maguire, Mainu, and Mount for injuries were out. and Bruno 5. So 5 injuries from our group that would have potentially been impacting on those games. Newcastle, Wolves, and also Aston Villa when we lost 2-1. Those players definitely would have impacted those games. Not having Mbuemo, but like we knew those 3 were going to be gone, but losing those 5 do impact games, ladies and gentlemen. They do. With losing Mbuemo and Ahmad, we could have had Bruno up to where Brian Mbuemo was, especially with Mount being injured. Kobe could be where Bruno was. Like we were missing players, impactful players, ladies and gentlemen. And the depth, we do not have that depth. There was going to be an issue when we were fully healthy and everyone was there. Yes, depth was great, especially with the return of Licha, the Aiden Heaven, who has stepped up marvelously. Yoro, who has had his ups and downs, but him and Heaven are both young still. They're still in that development stage. Like, we are going to be experiencing some games where we're going to struggle. And some of these games, we're seeing that. Newcastle, Wolves, we were there, we struggled. We lost to Villa, obviously, with the way everything went against Villa. We struggled and lost. We saw that there. We can keep saying that we're the better team, but at the end of the day, the better team, we still lost. It's still an L. We can say, oh, the better team lost, but at the end of the day, it's an L in the column. It's still there. It's just like the Arsenal game. Yeah, great. We played lights out against Arsenal, and obviously that one error happened and we lost. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. It happened. Things have started to improve. We are going to get better. And then once we have players returning and what they're looking at to target for the transfer window, that will get better as well. But there are a lot of things to do. So obviously an important game on Sunday. Hopefully we have players back. Some of the players I would like for them to look at for targets, and I don't know if they're going to get them this January transfer window, but obviously Angelo Stiller, Adam Morton, Conor Gallagher, Jean-Philippe Mateta from Crystal Palace, the striker. We're going to need a striker in replace of Sesko, though we're still going to need a striker no matter what. Nothing against Sesko, but if Cunha goes down, that's going to be a risk because sometimes we'll use Cunha in the Mbuemo Mount combination, or we can do Bruno, Mbuemo, Cunha. Like there's pieces there, but we do need more in the terms of an attack. We are going to need that. Elliot Anderson, Ruben Neves, João Gomes, we're going to need those players as well, like types of those players too. Obviously, the cost is one thing. We have to look at the effectiveness of cost. We have to speak with Atletico about Conor Gallagher, especially with talking about Ruben Neves, if we're able to get those players there, if we can get them affordable. As much as I know we've talked about Toby Collier coming back, that's an addition. It's great, but he's injured and recovering. That does give them an additional piece in the midfield, especially if Ugarte is departing. So we have that replacement midfielder. We do need someone back for Kobe. But again, Ugarte may not go until Collier is healthy. So we have Collier back. That's a young piece. That's a piece that's played well for us last year. We saw him play in those roles with Bruno or with Casemiro. But we do need pieces. We do need depth. And for us to continue to compete, that depth has to be there. Listen, we have Leeds that week. We're off with the FA Cup, and then we're facing Arsenal, and then we're facing Man City back-to-back. 2 very important games. 2 games that we would love to have healthy players for. That is the one thing that's there. We need to have healthy players for those matches. We would like to have depth pieces for those matches. But we're gonna. It's hard to say what's going to happen. Hopefully they do spend. It'd be nice if they go for a player like Stiller, or if they go for Conor Gallagher, Ruben Neves. It'd be great if they went for all 3 of them and we had depth right there. That makes a big difference. So We have a lot of things that need to go, that need to happen. So it's just a matter of choosing that. But yes, my targets here, I know people are wondering, but what about Carlos Baliba? Baliba is struggling at this moment. He is. And he only wants to play for Manchester United, which can be a cause for concern. The Antoine Semenyo, obviously, with him gone, going to Man City, I know you can still speculate whether that's going to go. Sometimes deals can fall through, but he's made his decision. He's made the choice to go to City. If that deal fell through and he wanted to come to United, do you still want him? Because again, at the end of the day, he wanted to choose someone else. He didn't want to come to us first. So do we want to be the second fiddle choice? But for me, like, top two right now is Stiller and Wharton. If Xerxes going, we got to make a push for a striker. Going for Jean-Philippe Mateta would be key to have as well. We would need stuff like that for the squad. We need depth. We need a player like João Gomes, who we played just the other day. Elliot Anderson, but Elliot Anderson's going to cost a lot. He's got a higher price tag. But if we can go for a player like Neves and Conor Gallagher, experience as well as, talent, they both played in the Prem. They both are experienced at the international stage. Having them there to be there will be grateful as well. So we have, those are the targets that I'm looking at. Those are the targets that I would like for them to look at. But at the end of the day, we don't know what the plan is. It's what I would like. I know there's no way. I know when you look at Elliot Anderson, the price tag is there. That's the one concern. If we have the funds, why not go for multiple players to bring in for those depth pieces? Because that's the one thing. We have players, excuse me, but right now they're gone. And the one thing that's hurting us is depth. Nothing against the academy players. They're young, they're developing, they're not there yet. Some have stepped up, some have not. But right now we're at a stage where we are in a cause for concern about depth, and we need experience there. So that experience does help the youth academy. But having someone there, if we switched Bruno up, having someone there, if we switched, bringing Kobe Manu on to start, like we need pieces. So if in a magical world we got all of those players, great. If not, then I know João Gomes there's rumors of off and on of him not potentially going to United, but there's a player there that I would like. Elliot Anderson, Ruben Neves, Jean-Philippe Mateta, Conor Gallagher, Adam Wharton, Stiller. But Wharton we may not see until the summer. Stiller we could potentially go now if he's willing to leave Stuttgart. So United have pieces, they have targets, they have ideas, but the question is, can we get that? In a striker moment is important as well, because we need someone there if Xerxes goes, and if we don't go for someone within the Prem, we may have to look outside. Or worst case scenario, I don't want to say the worst case scenario sounds bad, but you start getting the minutes and giving time to Cheeto Obi, bringing him in. I know you can talk about JJ Gabriel, but that's not happening until next season, ladies and gentlemen. That is off the table at the moment. We may see him in the FA Cup, but I think at this time, right now, it's a matter of building depth and getting everything going. We have an FA Cup next week against Brighton. That's an important match too. So we have to start getting everything there. I know there's the talks of Marcus Rashford not going to get picked up from Barcelona. Do they maybe experiment about bringing him back? I don't know, because the damage is already done between him and Amorim. Rashford is aiming to leave. He definitely looks for a new change. He's mentioned that. So, but I don't think bringing him back would be the right choice. So, obviously, they have someone for Ugarte and Toby Collier, but they still have to bring other pieces in. So, looking at that too, and would they go near the end of the city or at the end of the transfer window to bring in someone last minute? I hope not. You need to bring someone in now to get the pieces, and we can't afford to not spend this January transfer window. We have to bring in pieces to help. That is the important thing as well. So, but yes, once again, my targets: Stiller, Wharton, Gallagher, Mateta, Neves, Elliot Anderson, Gomes. Those are players that we're looking at I would like for United to look at. Obviously, some of them, price tags, availability, would those be there? That's the one concern too. So, but yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today's episode. I will be back tomorrow talking about the Leeds matchup as well. But we have a lot of things that United need to do. Obviously it's going to be in another 24 hours. We'll see what happens then with transfers. Ruben Amorim's press conference should be happening tomorrow. So that's going to be on the agenda with the preview because it's going to be linked into the preview as well. So we will see how everything goes in terms of Manchester United. But again, we have a lot of things to build up on with this squad. We need everyone back. We need depth. That's the one thing. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and on Instagram, TikTok, and X as well. Enjoy the rest of your night. Once again, Happy New Year. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.